Well, hello and welcome to the Business Basics Bootcamp, your first 90 days in network marketing. This is session 3. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Brett, and along with myself and Sammy G, the amazing Sammy G, we are here on this journey with you to help you navigate your first 90 days inside of network marketing to be able to create a home-based business that can support your dreams, that can support your lifestyle, that can support you and your family to be able to live the life that you truly deserve. Over the last 4.5 years, Sammy and myself have been able to build a team of over 46,000 people and growing daily. And we are super excited, now more than ever, to welcome you into the team and to help you and to show you what's possible inside of this next 90 days. So, session 3, we are moving into how to create a part-time fortune so you may live a full-time life. And at the end of the day, isn't that what everyone wants? To be able to create this income, to be able to live a life of choice, to be able to spend so much more of their time being able to do the things that they want to do, to be able to travel, to be able to spend more time with family, to be able to give back in ways that they can only dream of at the moment, and to be able to live a full and epic lifestyle. But I also get that when you start something brand new, when you jump in, maybe just with one foot, and maybe you're sort of a little bit, well, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how much time and energy I'm supposed to be putting into this thing. I don't really have a lot of time to begin with, let's be honest. Not many people have all the time in the world to be able to build a business from scratch. And so this is where we can take overwhelm and create organization, to get organized, to be able to have everything in its place, that no area becomes unhinged, that you are able to put this and prioritize this network marketing business in your daily and weekly activities. And that's what we're here to show you. So because the wealth strategy doesn't fit in to the 9 to 5. It doesn't fit in just to weekends. So that's what we're here to jump into today. So we're going to look at effective time management, or I should say life prioritize, life priority, to be able to understand and to deep dive into the secrets of the wealthy. How do people do it? You know, Sammy and I used to drive around and, you know, before all this success, before we had all this team, before we had this lifestyle, and we used to drive around and we look at all the houses and we look at all the boats and we look at all the fast cars and we look at all these people living this amazing life, and we used to ask each other, we used to say, how do they do this? How do they manage to go from hard workers and people who are successful at what they do to be able to live an epic lifestyle, to be able to travel more, to be able to, you know, sit at the front of the plane? How do they do that? I mean, we're always questioning that. And so we're going to discuss the secret of the wealthy. We're also going to look at, again, taking this overwhelm to organized. Yes, for those people who are following on at home, it says overwhelm. So, but I'm not stopping now because I'm in flow. Taking overwhelm to organized. How do you do it? When everything is on top of you, when everything is everyone else wants your attention, when there are so many things to do, when there is so much life that you have to try and cram in to day to day. How do you do this? And also, how do you manage to create a home-based business? How do you fit it all in? Well, we're going to break it all down so that you can take the overwhelm out and actually become organized, become structured, look at your difference between your survival time as opposed to your wealth building activities. That's really what it comes down to, because ultimately that's what we want to move towards. What is your wealth strategy? We're going to look at being productive as versus active, just being sort of just a bystander and actually jumping in and doing the work. And we're going to look at how to create a learning environment, even with just 30 minutes a day. So the secret of the wealthy is this. They worked out that they had 24 hours in a day. That's it. That's what they worked out. They realized that there is a lot of time spent faffing about. I'm going to use that word because it is an awesome word to describe what most people do. They faff. They just faff around and never get anywhere, full of victim mentality, full of, I don't know what to do, I don't have enough time, but yet you look at what they do and that we put structure in, you actually realize how much time you do have. And the secret to the wealthy is no different. The secret of the wealthy is they realize that 24 hours in a day, no one was coming to save them. No one was coming to give them the leg up. Every man for themselves. And it's almost like, right, what are you going to do with the time that you have available? What are you willing to sacrifice short term for long-term gain, for long-term freedom? What is it that you are willing to do now that others aren't willing to do at all? Where do you want to go? And how do you want to get ahead? This is it, the 24 hours in a day. So let's break this down even further. All right? So if we have 24 hours in a day, then we know that certain things have to be done. And like I said, in this industry, in this profession, 95% of people fall into this. And they sort of go, all right, well, I don't know. It wasn't something that I got taught at school, and I didn't have to go and do a degree. I didn't do night school to become a network marketer. I just sort of fell into it. I just wanted to get a result, just wanted to be happy, just wanted to use the products. I just wanted to use the program. And all of a sudden now I'm sort of sharing it, here, there, and everywhere, and not, fumbling around in the dark, so to speak. But I also have commitments. I also have to sleep. So how do I fit this all in? Well, the secret of the wealthy looks like this. 8 hours of work. Your first 8 hours of the day. If I just had to follow you around on a daily basis and looked at how you broke everything down, a huge percentage would be your job. For a majority of people who are working or full-time mums, full-time carers, full-time parents, 8 hours of the day is spent surviving, just getting by, working. And we'll look at that. The third 8 hours is rest. And you need to sleep. You need to, reboot your system. And that, again, if you don't rest, you won't survive. And it's this second 8 hours, this 8 hours of wealth, that's what we want to jump into. That's where we're going to find the golden opportunity for you to create a wealth strategy. So the 8 hours of work looks like this. It's survival mode. And I'm sure if you're sitting at home, you're playing at home, you can be nodding your head and say, yep, my job, just over broke. I work, it puts food on the table, it pays the bills, it covers the running costs of our life, and it really is survival mode. I've never met anyone who has created a life of time and financial freedom from a job. Okay, so your 8 hours of work has to be considered. It has to be considered. Now, some of you are gonna sit there and want to arm wrestle with me and say, "No, it's 10 hours, Brett." No, I actually worked. Let's just cover the average week. Okay, so maybe you do work 10 hours, maybe you do, but there's going to be other areas where we're going to look at. But for the sake of this exercise, 8 hours of work. Your third 8 hours, like I said, is your rest time. Your rest time is where you get to reboot your system, where your body gets to repair itself. You get to re-energize yourself. You get to recover from the day. At some point, you're going to have to lie down. And again, it's 8 hours is the standard recipe for longevity and life. Let's just call it what it is. Some of you are like, well, I only get 4 hours, Brett. I need 6 hours. Like, I get it. But on our average, if we're just working through that 24 hours, 8 hours of rest is required. So then these 8 hours of wealth, And let's just sit in this for a second and look a little bit deeper in. 8 hours of this gray area, you have a choice. You make choices on a daily basis. This is where the action is. This is where you go to work on creating something different. No boss is telling you what to do with these 8 hours. Okay, so you have complete choice. This is where growth opportunities lie. This is where you get to be whatever you want to be, create whatever you want to create, have as much impact or as little impact as possible. If you just want to slip under the radar and not, get in anyone's way and, not disrupt anything, then you have ultimate choice in these 8 hours. No one's putting a timer on you in these 8 hours. This is where leadership is born. This is where results are. This is where true wealth sits. In this industry, this is it. Because if you don't have all the money in the world, then you have time. At some point, you have time. This is where you hustle. This is what we talk about when we're going to do our sideline hustle. You're going to work to survive. That has to be ticked off. You're going to sleep. That has to be ticked off. However, this area, this time right here, this is our greatest potential for wealth. This is where you get to build a side income or a side hustle. This is where you get to grind. So the $1 million tip for every single person out there that's working the jobs, a promotion is not a wealth strategy. If you are sitting around waiting for someone, your supervisor, your manager, your director, whatever it is, to die or retire, so they move aside so then you can go in for their job and get their cushy number and their extra hours and their extra commitments for an amazing pay rise of 2% per annum or whatever it is. This is not a wealth strategy. I think wealth is determined by, if your job was to stop today, how much time would you be able to live, or how many days, weeks, months, years are you able to live on the residual or the recurring income or the money to keep coming in before you say, I'm broke? And if your job's finished today, how long would you last? Well, before Isagenix, before network marketing, before this profession came into our lives, it would have been about 4 hours, or and we were done. It was that close. It was that close to the mark. So you can see that having a job, this illusion of survival, this area that you think that everything's going to be great forever, then a promotion is not a wealth strategy. And remember, I'm not talking just to anyone. Okay, I'm not talking to just the people who just want to survive and just want to go, yeah, whatever, Brett. It's cool. My life's sweet. It's all sorted. I don't need anything else. This is for the go-getter. This is for people who are open-minded. This is for you. This is for the person who is up to something, who is willing to stretch, who is looking to create something different in their life. In their one life that we have, you are up to something. So this is why I'm talking to you about this. So we're going to take you from overwhelmed to organized. I hear so many people, day in, day out. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. When should I do this? How often should I be doing that? Where do I find this? Where do I find that? How do I say this? How do I find more people to talk to? What should I say? And if you're following along with these sessions, you go back to session 2 when we talked about how to connect with confidence. That's where the rubber meets the road. That is it. That is the work. That is our job description. To be the messenger, to keep our doors open, to be talking to people on a daily basis, to go through the steps 1 to 8, 1 to 8, 1 to 8, keep duplicating, go back, move, next person. Who else am I going to meet? Coffee date, messenger, voice calls, phone calls, opportunity presentations, in-home presentations. Getting ourselves out in front of people is what we do. But taking this overwhelm, it can be overwhelming. I get it. When people start something, the first thing they do is, I've got to have everything in order. I've got to have everything in place. Where do I put that? Where do I put this? How do I set it up? How do I let everyone know that I'm doing something? And how do I actually take myself seriously? as a business owner from home. So this is going to help you out. This is why we believe this is very important for Sammy and I. Every time we talk about this, people get a sense of relief, and they go, oh, okay, okay. So I just create some structure. Get some structure in your business. I've never met any CEO of some corporate high business company that doesn't have organization. That's the whole point of this. The beautiful thing is it's so simple in a business like this. You don't have to have a high rise. Like I said, you can just wear your pajamas, but you still need to take this seriously. If you want the world to start taking you seriously, start taking yourself seriously as a business owner. Don't look at it just from the amount of money that you've put in and just think, well, it was a low entry to come in anyway, so I'm not really going to take this seriously. I'll do other things, and if I get around to it, I may look at it. That's all right for other people. Me, I'm different. I'm busy. Sammy and I did this with 4 kids in tow, a small business running. We were overly committed in terms of our time, in terms of our business running, from 5 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m. at night. We had 4 kids at school and at home. Sammy was pregnant, and we managed to find the pockets of our time to build this in record time, to be able to max out in 10 months. That's $13,500 per week, residual coming through our business. It's serious if you take it seriously. If you are ready to become organized, it doesn't take much, but it is going to take something. What are you willing to commit to? That really is where the game is at for you in this session. So let's get organized. So I get it that people are like, okay, Brett, right. You've covered my work, fair enough. You've covered my rest, fair enough. But I've got other things going on. My life is hectic. I love the word hectic. I mean, you should come and spend the week with us. That's hectic. But this story about your life. I've got all these other things going on. I've got to go to the gym. Yes. I've got to do errands. I've got to run errands. I've got to go shopping. I've got to do all this other stuff. How do I fit this in? You're talking like 8 hours a day on top. Like, when do I watch my Netflix? When do I do these things? When do I just get to read a book? Okay. So what if I told you that inside of those 8 hours of wealth, right? That free time, that choice time, the one where no one's telling you what to do, your 8 hours of freedom. If I said you get 5 hours of faffing about a day as well. 5 hours of faff. Go to the shop, see a movie, eat food. What else do faffers do? Scroll on Facebook, watch TV, paint the walls, mow the grass, whatever you do. But you are in this business. If you get to do 5 hours of faffing about, okay, and that is covered in just faff amount of noise, then let me show you how to do it in 3 hours a day. Remember, when I talk about 3 hours a day, I've already said that you can work, right? I've already said that you've got 5 hours of faffing about. I've already said that you've got 8 hours of sleep. So when we talk about 3 hours, that's not taking away any time from any of that other stuff. So I want you to start to see that this doesn't take much time at all. Especially when you're just getting started. All right, but it is going to take something. It is going to take something. But if you could make that commitment to yourself and say, okay, I can't commit to 8 hours a day, Brett. Okay, I've got other things going on. Granted, and I've got my job. Granted, let's take all that off the table. Don't do anything in those times. Make sure you're surviving. Make sure that you're keeping a roof over your head. Don't bankrupt yourself for this. And then also you've got 5 hours to just do everything else that you need to do for the day. And then you've got 8 hours of sleep. Let's go to work on your 3 hours a day. And let's start looking at how we break this down. That works out to be around 20 hours per week, okay, give or take. 20 hours a week. Now, then let's look at those 20 hours. If we just section it off now and say 20 hours a week, you can do 20, and again, remember, you're your own boss. You don't have to spread it out over 7 days. You can do Saturdays, you may be able to do something. You may have a full day somewhere, you could do something else, but ultimately 20 hours across the 7 days. Hopefully you're still with me. Now, inside of that 20 hours, Sammy and I have broken it down for you even further. Because inside those 20 hours is not just everything. It's not just on the court playing the game. Now, you can definitely do that. If you are like focused, ready, committed, eager, passionate. Sammy and I were very eager, passionate individuals. So we managed to do more inside of our productivity than most. That's why we were able to achieve the results that we get in our business. So let's look at this, and you have a look on the screen. There's 20 hours per week. We've broken it down into 10 hours of income producing activity, 5 hours of training, and that is self-training, skill development, upskill, because you're going to work here, you're going to work on your business. 5 hours per week, week after week, 5 hours per week of your training yourself, and 5 hours of personal development. Because we also know personal development is very important, because many people are in a stuck, fixed mindset. And I'm not being nasty. I'm not saying that you're fixed or whatever. I am saying, though, that society, the way that we live, has taught us to be fixed. It has taught us to go to school, get the job, stay in a job, have an employee mindset, work for a wage, swap hours for dollars. Don't dream big anymore. It's beaten out of us. So developing yourself through this wealth strategy, it is a necessity. It's like a non-negotiable, to be fair. Otherwise, because you cannot hold $1 million bank account, you cannot hold this $1 million asset without building $1 million mindset. And we've said that before, but it's like you see a lot of people who win the lotto, and because they haven't built the muscle, the mental muscle to hold on to that money, they don't know what to do with it. They just go nuts, they just go crazy. They're just like they're broke the year after. I'd love to do a documentary on where are they now, all the lotto winners, to sort of see what they made of their fortune. What we want to do is build you first. Build you, and then the money comes. Become the magnet of money. Become the magnet of attraction of what's possible in your life, so that when you get there, you are the person that is able to accept and to let it in, rather than just let it sort of fall apart. Those people who don't grow themselves do not grow their business. Those people who don't grow themselves and continue to invest in themselves will eventually fall back into employee mindset and fall back into jobs. So what we want to do is train you and teach you in the skills of creating wealth that generates long after you've done the work. Okay, so 10 hours of income producing activity. Let's look at what income producing activity is. 10 hours of income producing activity. This is any activity that puts money in the bank. Any activity that puts money in the bank. And as you can see, we've broken this down, and it looks strangely like session 2. You got to be building your list on a daily basis. You got to be in the front line, meeting new people. Where will you find your next person? Where will you be talking to that next person? How many times today is the Isagenix or the network marketing story being told? How many times today? You are going to be connecting. You're going to be in the front line talking to people. Remember that creative connection, those 5 steps. Getting coffee dates booked in, meeting new people, talking to people, following up on people, creative connection on a daily basis. You're going to be in action. You're going to be following them up. What did you like best? What did you learn about that video? What did you learn about that webinar? What are you interested in looking at the next step? Are you interested? Thank you very much. Next, sort and sift. Presenting. showing the video, showing the webinars, getting the launch parties, taking them to the opportunity meetings. You're doing these sort of things with brand new people. Presenting needs analysis. How many needs analyses are you doing before you bring the price presentation? How many people are you going through the conversation with at the moment? How many people are looking at what their commitment levels are and where they're consciously at? How many people have you got going through that funnel? How many people have you got going through this funnel? That will determine your outgoings. That will determine what you get back. If you have no list, if you have no connecting with no one, and you are not following up on anyone, you're not presenting on a daily basis, people aren't watching the tools at the moment as we're watching this, and you're not going through the needs analysis, discovering where people are at, if you're not handling the objections and tying down where everything is at, and you're not enrolling, and then you don't have support calls and welcome calls, and you're not doing it, then guess what? You are dead in the water. This is where it is. But guess what, team? It's only 10 hours a week of your 20 hours. This is inside of that 20 hours per week. This is half of the work. This is what's going to put money in your bank account. Don't look around and look sideways and look left and right and say, I don't know how to make this money, because there it is. This is the $1 million opportunity right there in front of you. And this is how you create money. So if we look at the training and skill development now, 5 hours per week. 5 hours per week. Remember, we have already taken care of your job. We have already taken care of your sleep. And we've also taken care of 5 hours per day. That's 35 hours of faffing about. That's date nights. That's gym work. That's shop running. That's shopping. That's Facebook scrolling. Whatever you do. Inside that, you have free time just to be okay. Just hanging out. Lying on the couch. Watching Netflix. That's 35 hours of your time. But still, inside of here, 5 hours of dedicated time. Focused time of training and skill development. Where do you train and skill? Where do you upskill? Where do you go to work? Where is your rolling university? How are you training and developing yourself? This is something brand new. Remember, you said when we first began, it's like, right, you're going to be bad at this. You're going to be a beginner, but you don't want to stay as a beginner. Majority of your time, you're going to be learning in the field, those 10 hours per week, doing the calls, the follow-ups, inaction, objections, getting the no's, getting the yes, sort and sift, talking to people, finding people. When do you then train yourself to get better? Well, through experience is one, but the next, we're going to allow, inside this 20 hours, 5 hours of training and development. You go online company training. They offer so many programs, so much training, so many Zoom calls, so much help and support that you don't need to go anywhere else but into the company training facilities and the programs that they offer. Online team training, just like this. There's whole different modules in this program, but you allow 5 hours per week to do it and then get into action, 10 hours per week, plus you get all the free time, plus you get everything else. Okay, this is a part-time fortune. Remember that, part-time fortune. Company events, structure in events. Events are going to be your powerhouse. It's like where you get to fast track your training and your development. This is a necessity as well. This is your non-negotiable. But can you, again, are events happening every single week? Absolutely not. Can you be booking in every quarter, every 90 days to be at an event? Yes. To give one Saturday up like a quarter, or one weekend up a quarter. Remember, this is all part of your wealth strategy. This is important. Like I said, I give you the figures and the numbers of what we've been able to achieve. And there are so many others that have done it as well and are doing it. You're next. Team events. Is the team breakthrough holding events that you can get to be a part of? Is your upline, is your sponsor, your executive, your people in your local area running events on a weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis? What can you tap into? Prioritize that time as well. Put it into 5 hours of your training time. Tools training, specifics, company tools, the videos. Like when we look back at income producing activity, you want to know what the videos are. What are your go-to videos? So why not your first couple of weeks, this next week, whatever, you sit for 5 hours across the week and just watch the tools, write notes, get feedback, work out which ones that you love to send, work out what video would go with what personality that you're talking to. If someone wants weight loss, you have a weight loss video that you can send. Which video do you love? What video do you love most? Become intimate with the tools. They're going to be your bread and butter. They're going to do the work for you. Remember, tools do the presenting. You just got to know which tools to go to. And so many people always they try to sidestep this, and go and come to us and say, okay, what am I up to? What am I going to do? Which video would you send here? It's like, you should know. You should know your tools. Like any great craftsman should. You should know your tools. It's no good just like a builder, hanging around with a hammer and going, what the hell do I do this with this thing? It's like, well, if you knew your tools, you knew your craft, and you knew what to do with it, then you can create masterpieces. You can create architectural designs that blow everyone's mind. How did they do that? It's because if you knew the tools and you knew the craft and you got better at it, then you'll be mastering at this. And this is what fits into 5 hours per week of training and skill development. Your personal development. So again, 5 hours per week. One of our great mentors, one of our great friends said to us, if you want to succeed in anything, right, as part of your day, read for 30 minutes a day. If you want to double your success, then read an hour or listen to audiobooks. Time is precious, like we all understand, but allowing yourself the freedom to actually build this into your schedule on a weekly basis. 5 hours of pure personal development, self-development, building your confidence, building your action-oriented mindset, having a growth mindset, creating abundance, meditating, filling your days with gratitude, being able to build an expansive idea, an expansive knowledge, expansive way to look at life. Imagine the world if we all just focused on personal development and we worried about ourselves first, to get from victim mindset to champion mindset, to be able to get from that fixed way of doing to growth, to be able to become flexible in our thinking. That's what personal development is all about. And that leads to breakthroughs. You become the breakthrough. You overcome challenges, and it all comes with personal development. So 5 hours of personal development, full on, just all you, all encompassing, all engrossed, all focused on the self. You go audiobooks. Which audiobooks are going to work for you? Type in personal development and just in Amazon or whatever, and just go nuts. Get it in you. Any which way you can. Books, events. Events matter. Events are transformative, immersive. That's where you need to grow. Online programs, coaching calls, having an accountability partner. These are all areas of personal development and personal growth that you can master inside of this. Chances are, even when I've broken this down to 20 hours per week, you'll get lost. You'll get lost in it. So this is your starting point. This is where you can totally see where you can build this business in the pockets of your time. No one has the excuse. No one has the excuse. It's just a difference of priority. It's reprioritizing what matters to you long term. So personal development for us. So I just share with you quickly for Sammy and I, when we got started, we didn't have much time. Like I said, we were overcommitted to our business. Two of us were working in it, on it, and around it, and all over it. It wasn't like we were just sort of, the small business owners sort of just pointed and just said, right, that needs to be done. We were in it. We bought ourselves a job. So we were in it night and day. We had 4 kids. One of them was at home. Sammy was at home and in the job. So she was overcommitted in life. And she was pregnant. And so where did we find it? Where did we find time to do this? Because it doesn't always look so neat. Okay? The only thing that looks neat is your job, because they give you a roster, they give you structure, and they give you accountability. Here, you have to teach yourself how to have structure and accountability. You have to teach yourself where it is. The biggest part of this, 20 hours, 10 hours of income producing activity in the field, face to face with adversity. That's going to be your best lesson. It's going to give you the best skill and training, and it's also going to give you the best personal development. It will also put money in the bank. That's the difference. These will eventually help you to build that 10 hours, but if you focus on the 5 hours of personal development, skill development, eventually you'll get better at the 10. So this is where we work. And so Sammy and I, we found what were we willing to give up? What were we willing to give up? Have a checklist and go, right, what were we willing to give up? Well, the first place we were willing to give up was we were willing to give up top 40 songs in the car. So that went. Because me learning all the Justin Bieber words to all his favorite songs and all that sort of stuff wasn't making me wealthy. It was making him wealthy, but not me. So we scratched that. And we said, every single time we get in the car now, let's just switch off the music and put on audiobooks. And it didn't matter what was playing. Jim Rohn was playing, Eric Worre was playing, all the greats were playing over and over in our heads, listening to it one more time. The Go-Giver. The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Everything, we just became a rolling university because we didn't have time, but we knew that every single time we sat in the car, we would listen to something. It didn't matter where it started, didn't matter where we were up to, it just kept rolling over and over again. To this day, it continues to be inside of our heads. Why not fill it up? And with our kids, they get to listen to it too. It's better. I would rather have personally developed children who have their minds of their own and believe that they can do it and believe that they can accomplish anything in life rather than them knowing the words to a song. So we got our whole family involved in this. And they are involved this day, taking them to events. Just take them to events. If you can't find a babysitter, take them. I remember 6 weeks in, Teddy was 6 weeks. 6 weeks we were at our first ICA uni. And I remember Sammy and I we were actually speaking at that event. Our first ICA uni, we were speaking at it. And Sammy and I were like pushing Teddy, in Sydney it was, and we were pushing Teddy at the front in a pram, right down the front. And we just took it in turns. We took her out. And then, it was a juggle, but we did it. And they growing up in this environment now. They grow up in this profession. They're going to know what network marketing is all about. They know it already. They know where mum is when she's in Hawaii. They know where dad is when he's in England. They know when they go on trips. They know when they go on travel. They know what is getting them to where they want to go. So involve them. All right, take a stand for yourself. Take a stand, create the posture that you are serious about this. Become serious. Become an ambassador to this profession. And I tell you, it will look after you. It will take you where you want to go, and it'll give you the lifestyle that you truly deserve. But you've got to stick in and do the work. You've got to not fumble. You've got to take this seriously. Are you willing to draw the line in the sand? That's the question. And I've given you the structure here to take you from overwhelmed to organized. 20 hours a week. Part-time fortune, full-time life. Are you up for it? So the $1 million tip, 1 hour in the field, I've said it, 1 hour in the field is worth 20 hours in the books. And this is where people get stuck. They get stuck in readiness rather than action. 1 hour in the field, 1 hour on conversations, 1 hour of doing needs analysis, 1 hour of doing phone calls and following up, 1 hour of actually booking in coffee dates is going to be far more valuable and far more successful and getting you faster towards your goal than 20 hours of reading of how to get ready. 20 hours of I've just got to read one more book. I've got to listen to one more podcast. It's a partnership. Income producing activity, development, skill development and training all at once. That's how we get to earn while we learn. That's how we get to bypass the 4 years of university and college degrees and spending all this money on just sitting in a university, and we actually get to impact and implement everything into the learning straight away, and we actually get paid for the result. Brilliant. So 1 hour in the field is worth 20 in the books. Nothing happens without action. Nothing will happen without action. You'll have the best looking work schedule. You'll have the best looking office. You'll have the best looking everything. But if you don't put action into it, if you skip the 10 hours of income producing activity, if you skip talking to people, you will miss the point. You will miss this. You'll be a walking library. That's what you'll be. But no one will ever read your books. So session 3 action steps right here, right now. Draw it out. Draw out, block out, highlight, choose and send. Draw it out. Draw out your weekly schedule. Now that you know the 3 areas, draw it out. Get your weekly planner. Buy one. Invest in one. Whether you need it up on like a planner up on the wall, on the whiteboard, whether you need it on a journal, whether you do it online, whether you do it with Siri, whatever you do, plan it out, block it out, see it for yourself, visualize where your non-negotiables are at the moment. Is it work? Work is a non-negotiable. Fill it in. Block it out. Okay, and be reasonable. Block out your time. Block out your faff time. Block out all your other stuff. And then go to work and block out your work, your time, your rest time, and then highlight. Remember, you also get in there 5 hours of just whatever. A day, that is, per day. Highlight your 20 hours of network marketing time. Highlight your 20 hours. Look for it. Okay? And remember, your work is going to be your income producing activity. Half of that, 10 hours. 10 hours of in the seat, on the court, playing the game. Smiling and dialing. Texting, messaging, conversion, talking. All right? Highlight your weekly training schedule. What are you going to commit to? What is the program that you're going to follow? Remember, it's online company, online team training. There's all this stuff around you that you can immerse yourself in. Tool training. Choose your personal development learning. What are you going to start with? It doesn't matter where you start. You just got to get it in you. The Go Giver. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. GoPro. Anything from Jim Rohn. Right? Your first 12 months in building a network marketing business is brilliant. Right? Anything from Jim Rohn, you will not go wrong in terms of personal development. Anything from anything around money, T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, The Go Giver, how to understand about value and adding value to your life and to others, how to give back, The 4 Agreements, anything like that, anything that you can find, just sink your teeth into and start reading, start applying, start learning, start immersing your brain in something else, because your brain is just like fertile soil. You can either grow weeds in it, or you can grow beautiful plants, veggie gardens, orchards. You can grow amazing things, but it's what you plant in it and what you put in it that's going to be the difference in the soil. It's got nothing to do with the soil. It's got everything to do with what you put in it. Send this. So once you choose all your time, once you choose your training schedule, your development, all your learning, everything is set. Send your schedule to your upline support. All right, send it to your hub or your accountability partner. Find an accountability partner. And again, I don't have to find them for you. Team Breakthrough is full of people just like you, looking to get the next steps. Start being that self-directed driver of your business. Reach out to people. Post it on the Team Breakthrough page and say, hey, I am looking for an accountability partner. I'm ready. I've got my schedule. I've done my business basics. I'm set to go. Let's do that. Get to work on that. Send your schedule to someone, to your sponsor or your upline executive, or even just your accountability partner. Whoever you've got around you to support you in this is where you begin. So session 3 of the Business Basics Bootcamp, your first 90 days in network marketing. My name is Brett, and along with Sammy, we cannot wait to cheer you on, to watch you grow, to watch you succeed, to watch you create something out of nothing, to be able to get in this vehicle of network marketing, to be able to turn that key on and actually get into action. We're going to be here for all your successes. We're going to be here when you fall down. We're going to be here to pick you up again. But we're going to be here for you and to be a stand for you to make something of this. Congratulations on completing session 3. Make sure before you move to session 4, you get this in place. Get this in place. Do not move to that next session until you've got it in place, because as you can see, we're starting to compound on things. You don't want to watch this whole program and then sort of go back and find out where to begin. Build it as we grow. Build it as we go along.